Man, I think we'll start with Jaylen Brown. Man, did y'all see his historic NBA contract? 340 was it 340 mil? 304.
It was a lot,
It
and
was
that's good for him.
yeah. We lost Blades, but it was a exponential amount of money. I think it was the richest contract in NBA history, if I'm not mistaken.
But
Five
what was
year.
he saying he wanted to bring
Hold on,
back black?
I got it. But it was 5 years, 304 mil. I'm gonna play a little a little snippet from his press interview the day after they announced his contract, his historic contract.
For the mic before asking questions, thank you.
Hey, Jaylen, what do you plan to do with the generational wealth? I mean, what do you plan to do off and on the floor with this new contract?
Well, that's a great question. I want to launch a project to bring Black Wall Street here to Boston. I want to attack the wealth disparity here. I think there's analytics that supports that, stimulating the wealth gap could actually be something that could be betterment for the entire economy. With the biggest financial deal in NBA history, it makes sense to talk about, one, your investment in community, but two, also, the wealth disparity here that nobody wants to talk about. It's top 5 in the U.S. It's something that we can all improve on. It's unsettling. And I think through my platform, through influential partners, through selected leaders, government officials, a lot who are in this room, that we can come together and create new jobs, new resources, new businesses, new ideas that could, highlight minorities, but also stimulate the economy and the wealth gap at the same time. I think that could be a mix of commercial entities, real estate, residentials as well. Boston could be, a fully integrated, self-sufficient, hub, attacking minorities and stimulating the wealth gap. I think Boston could be a pilot, not just for wealth disparity here in the U.S., but also for around the world. So you asked me what I wanted to do or what I want to do. One, I want to, attack that wealth gap here in Boston, create a project. Also, I want to help stimulate the overall economy, and I want to bring Black Wall Street here to Boston.
Yeah, shout out to brother Jaylen Brown. He smoked that. I don't know if that was something that he thought about prior to this, but
Shit, they calling in a bunch of ERs.
you said what? But yeah, Blaze,
I said they probably over there calling them a bunch of hard ERs.
a bunch of hard ERs. Well, that wasn't my experience in Boston. I thought Boston was a lovely city. Real small streets, though, coming from Texas. So Blaze is on his own with that, saying that the Bostonites are probably calling him the hard ER. Because for everybody who's listening, I think Boston has a historic racism in that city, which place doesn't in America, Blaze? But yeah, man. Like I said, he smoked that. I think that everything that he said was apropos. It's kind of refreshing to see athletes talk like this. I mean, we talked about Zion Williamson before on the show, and we saw how Zion spends an exponentially amount of money on his fetishes on these women. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of refreshing to see Jaylen Brown talk about doing stuff for the community first, and his heart is in the right place. Being a kid from Atlanta, though, I was wondering how Atlanta felt about that, because Atlanta got one of the largest wealth disparities in the country, and he's talking about doing all this stuff in Boston, and he didn't say much about Atlanta at all. Leslie or Blaze, did that come across your mind when you heard him speak about that?
No, I'm sorry, I didn't. I don't know really the details of like the players, where they're from, and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just jump in at like who's cute or who's in the headlines. That's
Yeah.
kind of where my antennas go up. But anything other than that, I'm sorry, I don't know.
She said he was cute. You a fool, Leslie. But what you? I mean, did you like you just heard his speech? What did you think about some of the stuff that he said?
I think it's definitely good stuff, and I think that what he's doing is great. And maybe I don't know, maybe he feels like since Atlanta has so many, Black people making moves and doing their thing, that he probably just maybe wanted to do something elsewhere, since Atlanta kind of like has their own Black, like everybody know Atlanta is kind of like pro-Black. Everybody is just there doing their thing, Black people wise. Everybody trying to get to the bag, and it's just a lot of stuff going on. And for those who have never been to Atlanta, like, it's a really great place. It's like just like a black heaven. Like seriously, like it's a good time. I wish Kendall was on so he could speak on the Atlanta part. But maybe to me, maybe that's why he's trying to do it elsewhere, because Atlanta kind of has their own thing going already.
Yeah, and Floyd just said 95% of NBA players do stuff in the city that they love, and I'm in the city that they play for. I agree with that, but like sometimes that hometown, it's just a little different. He probably does stuff in Atlanta as well. I'm not exactly sure about him, but like I said, to me it was just refreshing to hear him mention bridging the wealth gap and doing some stuff for our community first. That was the very first thing he mentioned. You know what I mean? And he talked about getting partners involved.
I like that he's scared to speak up.
Facts, yeah, because it's very seldom do we see that outside of Kyrie and Kyrie and LeBron, and typically when they do, they get a shot down. This has been seemingly received well by the vast
even during
majority.
the Black Lives Matter thing. Remember, he was up front.
Yeah. So like I said, it's dope that he ain't afraid to speak up and to see that.
Hey, the conversation was more about do he deserve that contract though? That's what the sports fans was talking about. What you think?
I this is a slippery slope here. I definitely think I think what he brings to the Boston Celtics, he deserves that contract. I don't think Boston is going to win anytime soon. If that answers your question, like, you know what I mean? I don't think that they have the pieces. I think the Tatum and Jaylen Brown situation, I think it don't mesh well. One thing I think though, I think he should be the person to take the last shot. I might be sounding kind of wild right now with them having Jason Tatum. I think Jason Tatum is the guy to get you there, and Jaylen Brown is the guy to close. That's just how I look at it. I don't know how you feel about that, Blaze, or any other sports fan, but that's just how I look at it.
I mean, he was top 15, top 20 player, but they was in a bond. Like, they ain't had no choice but to pay him. Like, he made second team All NBA. Yeah, so it's just the nature of the league right now, especially with the new deal coming.
Yeah.
So I'm just interested to see like if he getting that, like what Giannis, what Luka gonna get. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he was in supermax territory though. Is Giannis and Luka in supermax territory yet? Did you hear me, Blades? I don't know. I think Blaze still having technical issues over there, so we're gonna wait it out until he come back. but yeah, man. Like I said, there's the other players who probably should just get just as big a deal as him. But like I said, I thought from my standpoint that that Jaylen deserved this contract. You know what I mean? So like I said, just hopefully Tatum is the one to get him through here in the future. Leslie, did you watch the fight last night?